If you're a big swim team and you like to order a lot of gear, maybe you ought to check out Swim Outlet Team Division for these reasons. Swim teams receive a 10% discount on bulk orders. Swim teams or organizations get an 8% commission on referred sales. You'll also like their customization services, which is affordable and available at all times during the year for all team gear. With over 50,000 items in stock, you can get most anything you want. Swim Outlet Team Division. You need to try it out. You'll be glad you did.
This is the Morning Swim Show for Wednesday, September 25th, 2013. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. For the past few days, we've been bringing you some highlights from the American Swim Coaches Association's World Clinic in New Orleans. Today's show will feature an award given at the clinic's banquet, the Ousley Award. This award is presented to the coach that has performed exceptional service to the sport of swimming and to ASCA, and this year's recipient definitely has done that. Ron Gilchrist should be considered the inventor of the modern competition swimming goggle, as he pioneered the design in the early 1970s that made swimming much more comfortable and much faster. Introducing Gilchrist at the awards banquet was legendary coach Don Gambrell, and we bring you that award presentation today.
Ron Gilchrist is a very dear friend of mine, has been since the 1960s. And he had a couple brothers also that went to USC and were captains of the team at the University of Southern California, also Olympians. Ron himself swam at Long Beach City College, and they had a tremendous year under Monty Noskowski, winning the Southern Cal Championships and the state championships. Ron also was an Olympic swimmer, and one of his real claims to fame is marrying a girl named Lenore Fisher. She sits over there beside him. She's been putting up with him for 56 years. And Lenore herself was on 2 Olympic teams. I believe it was 52 and 56. And I had a chance to meet her in 1956, the same time I met Jack Nelson. I was on a destroyer in Australia. And that, I think, was one of the main reasons I had an opportunity to become Olympic coach, was going to those Olympics and meeting a guy like Jack Nelson. And that's a lasting impression for you. But Ron has done just about everything there is to do. He coached in Canada, started out with an assistant to George Gate. Both Ron and Lenore came from the small town of Ocean Falls. It's a mill town on the coast in north of Vancouver. Very, very small town. I believe, if I'm correct, that the pool was 20 yards long. I guess there wasn't anything else to do in that town, because they turned out most of the Canadian Olympic team for over 25 years with a coach named George Gate. Ron started his coaching as an assistant to George, later moved on to Prince Rupert, and from there went on to the Montreal Athletic Club, where he coached for several years before he went on into business and no longer coached. Ron, at the same time, took a team from Canada. Now imagine this. They traveled for 44 days, and he took that team to Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. So you can just imagine being Ron Gilchrist for 44 days and having your children with Ron Gilchrist for 44 days in his heyday. Ron is just a tremendous person, is always visualizing and having ideas and things that is out in front in many cases. He was the one that came to the board of directors with a plan in 1971 to put on an ASCA clinic in Canada. And it was hard for him to sell that to our board of directors. He put up a little cash to back his effort, and so we gave him that opportunity. And the whole story of the first show wasn't told to you. You just were introduced to part of it as far as the place that we were supposed to have the clinic. But we loaded up the buses, and I think there were some 600 people at that clinic, loaded up the buses, went up the mountain to this grand place to have this, and all of a sudden we got up there, and there was another function going on. Now here you are in Montreal, Canada, with 600 and some coaches, and your banquet hall isn't available. Well, how he did it, I still don't know, but we went to a place called the Old Munich, and it was wonderful. We had Moon Pa Pa bands, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful evening. In fact, it was so good that we backed the Montreal the next year. And I still don't know how anybody could do that in any city in the world, to show up with all of a sudden 700 people and say, I've got 700 guests for dinner, can you help me? He did it. Ron he's done so many things, and I've done so many things that we can't tell you about with him. But one of the other things that he pulled off at that first night and the talk or the clinic was he had a coach named George Campbell, and George was on the list, and you'll see him there listed. And this is almost a sinful word now. He was giving a talk on massaging your swimmers. Well, his candidate to massage happened to come in a Playboy bunny uniform, and he gave a very inspiring talk. I could go on for a long time talking about Ron, but he went into business and was really the first manufacturer in the United States for goggles that swimmers could actually wear and train in. We had all sorts of different things that we used to try to save our eyes from falling out of our head. And he started on these, and he manufactured these goggles, and he got some plastic injection machines and started making them just out of his back pocket and mortgaging his house. Lenore fortunately went along with that as well. And I can remember, and you of the older generation, remember a guy named Don Sonia walking around the deck at the 1972 Olympic trials. All up one arm, all up the other were all these goggles of different colors, and he's walking around selling them for a couple dollars a pair. Ron got in his car, went down the east coast of the United States all the way to Florida from Montreal, all the way up through Alabama, through Texas, and meeting with different coaches and getting us to take boxes of 200 or 300 pair of goggles at, again, I don't remember the price. I think the retail price was $2. But he did that with his truck loaded or his car loaded up with these goggles. And in Montreal, when we went to Munich, Ron was over there, and he flew over on the Canadian plane, and guess what he brought with him? 17 cases of goggles, which he distributed to people around the world. So he did a tremendous job with that business. He's always been a benefactor of swimming, and many of you know and are friends of Ron as I am. And it gives me a great privilege to introduce him tonight for the Bob Ousley Award. Ron?
Word for word, he stole my speech. I just have to fill in some of the things he missed out. First of all, I'd like to say that, congratulate ourselves, Lenore and I. We've been married 56 years today. I really am going through these cards. This is it. I would like to give the official numbers for 1971. We had 15 corporate sponsors. We implemented a cassette duplicating program where we sold 2,200 tapes. And most importantly, 634 coaches came from 23 countries, and we had 21 guest speakers from 5 countries and 7 states. On Friday morning, the first day of the clinic, Coach Buddy Bark and Coach Randy Reese were interviewed cruising above the city in the traffic helicopter from a Montreal radio station. And I can tell you all kinds of stories, but one in particular stands out. And it was a Saturday afternoon. The last speaker of the day was George Campbell, Santa Monica Swim Club. His topic was massage as preparation for swimming competition, and you've already heard this. Anyway, it was great. We did hire a bunny from the new than you, 1971, a Playboy Club, and we had her in the audience in a raincoat, and George kept going like this to me from the stage. You know, where's my assistant? And he wanted a female assistant, and I went like that. It's okay, it's okay. And so this girl got up and walked to the side of the stage, and he's on the stage, and she's getting her raincoat off like this, and 630 some guys, ladies and guys, just woke up, and there was a there was a huge applause and cheering, and George is going, and this girl marches out. Well, then he got wind, he understood what was going on. And during the demonstration, he put on a great talk, but he kept going, and when you do this, and everyone would scream with laughter. Anyway, it was really good. It was very good. The closing story of the Old Munich, I'm saving the Old Munich story for a book, but after calling the mayor of Montreal and Dick Pound from Montreal, who was an IOC member, as you know, we were lost, and we didn't know what to do, and these buses were traveling around on a sightseeing tour. And it wasn't that there was another function, it was the French-English misunderstanding that the last day was Sunday, but we said on the last night is the banquet. And I mean, the old chateau is a fantastic place, and everyone's flags hang up and everything. And so for an hour, they were touring the Montreal downtown. And we nearly gave up, and then I remembered George Rice from the Old Munich, and I called him and I said, I'll be right down. And we made the deal. The buses routed in, everybody piled out into the Old Munich, and the rest is history. George Haynes was dancing on a table. Breezy was dancing on a table, and about 8 o'clock, this was about 6:15, 6:30, and about 8 o'clock, 250 elementary school teachers, all females, arrived through the doors, and the herd came in, and 1,500 people in this Old Munich. The roof was just booming. Anyway, that was a great saving experience for me. I was very nervous about that. The American Swimming Coaches Association is a 5-star organization, the best in the world. How about giving your board of directors, your executive director, John Leonard, yourselves a big round of applause. Mark Twain said, sorrow can take care of itself, but to get true benefit of joy, you must share it. I would like to share this award with my wife, Lenora, my family, friends, my friend of 50 years, over there, Don Gambro, and I'm very proud to be part of the history of the American Swimming Coaches Association, and I thank you very much for the honor.
American Swim Coaches Association for allowing Swimming World to film moments from this year's awards banquet. We will be rolling out the remainder of videos from the ASCA banquet in the coming days, so stay tuned to swimmingworld.com and swimmingworld.tv. That's going to do it for today's Morning Swim Show. I'm Jeff Cummings. Thanks for watching.